Hi there. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you so much for clicking this video because it means so much to me. Now, this is my first time editing a video like this, so it's definitely not going to look the best, but I would love to hear feedback on how to make it more visually enjoyable for next time. Now, without further ado, here's my playthrough of FireRed with my favorite 6 Pokemon of Generation 1. I start with naming myself and my rival, and I pretty much just go with what I did my first time playing through this as a kid. I go by Ace, and I just thought Cass sounded cool, so I went with Cass for the rival. Now, we start in our bedroom Pallet Town, and we're making our way outside so we can head to the tall grass so we can go find some Pokemon. But we get stopped by the town's Professor Oak, who tells us it's a bit dangerous out there, so he takes us to his lab where his grandson Cass has been waiting. Now, Professor Oak tells us how he wants each of us to take Pokemon to go out on an adventure, and I end up picking just Bulbasaur because it's the one I picked the very first time I played, so I figured why not go again? Now, I wanted to give Bulbasaur a pretty cool name, and I had a little bit of trouble coming up with it, so I just ended up going with Gaia, and then shocker, the rival picked Charmander. And in typical rival fashion, he challenges us to a battle. But obviously we're the main characters, so it's going to be a quick and easy fight. Just a couple tackles and boom, he gets decimated. Now from here we quickly head to the Meridian City to get a package for Professor Oak, and when we return he gives us each a Pokedex and our journey finally starts for real. Now we go into the first real rival fight. We have our guy up at level 9, so you know we're going to be able to handle his Pokemon pretty easily as well. We just lead seed and just go and tackle. We get HP every turn, so there's not really much he's going to be able to do. He's not going to use any potion. And thankfully, he does not have Ember just yet. So it is A-okay for us. Now we go to the first gym fight with Brock, and with Gaia knowing Vine Whip, it's just 2 quick hits and game over. Now after getting the Boulder Badge, as soon as we head out, as you can see, Gaia feels like evolving into an Ivysaur. And not long after, we get our first member of our team, a little Nidoran, because Nidoking is my favorite Gen 1 of all time. And a name befitting for a king like him is a Tyrant. And right after we get him, we grind really quick so we can get to Nidorino ASAP. And that means we're going to be heading over to Misty very quickly so we can get our second gym badge. Now Tyrant's pretty good on his own right here, being he's at level 19. So he did a good chunk of damage on Misty, but we had to leave it to Gaia to get the quick and easy sweeps. Now right after getting done with this, we decided, hey, might as well just grab Nidoking real quick so we don't have to worry about his ground weakness anymore. And that's about to lead us to the next rival fight, where Kaz is going to have a good squad of 4. But we have a fully evolved Nidoking, so our stats are a lot higher in comparison to what they probably should be at this point. We quickly run into Bill's house so we can help him go back from being a Clefairy to an actual human being, where we're also going to get the SS and ticket, which is going to be our next stop right here. Because we have yet another rival fight. Because this guy always has to go exactly where I'm going. He can't go to any other place on his own. But just like before, really quick, really easy, especially with Tyrant right here. Thankfully right here, the Sickle Man gives us the Chamber Cut, which leads us to Lieutenant Surge's gym. Now, Surge normally would probably be a little bit scary because of all his Pokemon, but it's just a Voltorb, a Pikachu, and a Raichu. The Tyrant just has to do a dig 1, 2, 3, and it's quick and easy. And now we go to meet our third member of the team, Growl. Now, Arcanine is just a really cool fire type, and since I let the rival get Charizard, he doesn't get Growlithe. So it's A-okay for me. We have Cerberus the Growlithe now. And then directly right after him, we're about to get yet another new teammate. We are going to go get that Eevee, because you can never have a bad option in this gen. And we are going to name him Inazuma. Now, you can probably guess who we're going to get for it, but if not, it's going to be a little surprise. Now, for the Erica gym fight, it's very easy with Cerberus because he just gets to flame wheel all 3 of her Pokemon. The toughest part was probably just going to be the File Poop coming up, but we had some Super Potions, so it wasn't much to worry about. And now we get to fight the leader of Team Rocket over at Celadon, Giovanni. Now, Giovanni's got some pretty strong Pokemon as well, but he's not necessarily on the same level as the gym leader. I probably could have taken him on first instead, honestly, but they were around the same level cap, so I figured I'll just do one and then the other. Now, the Kangaskhan is normally the hardest hitting one that he has, but it's not a big deal for Gaia with his Leech Seed. And with getting the Silph Scope, that leads us to the Pokemon Tower for yet another rival fight. Now, just like before, it's relatively easy. Just Embers, Flame Wheels, Bites. The only problem right now is just Gyarados, because we don't have a real counter to it at the moment. But Tyrant got a lucky Poison off on him because of his own ability, so he was able to go down via that. Now, it executes very easy for Cerberus to take on, especially with the higher level that we're at. Because we didn't have to worry about a level cap anymore. At least until we get to Fuchsia City. And with that, we get to meet our 5th member of the team, Gas. Now, normally it'd be a bit harder to get Gengars, but we did a little tricky trick, so we'll be able to get one later without having to work. And with that, we welcome Spectre the Gengar. And directly right after that, we got Gaia to finally make the Venusaur. That's 2 fully evolved mons. Or make it 3 because now we also have Cerberus as an Arcanine. And you know what? Why make it 3? Because 3 is a good number, and I forgot we were actually getting Spectre to evolve into a Haunter right here. But right after that, we are going to have Inazuma finally evolve as well into a Jolteon. And of course, it wouldn't be a FireRed game without yet another rival battle. This time in Silphco, so we can get the final member of our team right after though. Does anyone remember who it's going to be? If so, then I hope you're just as excited as me because it is probably one of everyone's favorite water types from Gen 1. And now we get to say hello to our final member of the team, Lapras. And I figured, why not give it one of the most epic names for water types that you can have. And we went with Leviathan. Honestly, if it had been a female, I would have gone with Nessie, but it was, so we went with that. Now for the final Team Rocket battle for Giovanni in the control of Silpho. Just like before, it's relatively easy. He did add a couple new Pokemon, but nothing that we couldn't handle. Now we move on to the Coco fight, and honestly, it probably would have been a lot harder if I didn't already have 2 poison types on my team. Because he just probably would have just kept poisoning us back and forth like that, but actually we have 3 because I completely forgot that Haunter is not just a ghost, it is a ghost poison. But yeah, as you can see, it's gonna be pretty easy to just take it on. We just Perish Song so we can make sure that we can force it to swap out and everything with all its acid armor and minimize what's going on. After making it out of the Seafoam Isles, we were finally ready to head off over to Cinnabar Island. And man, I am not gonna lie, I actually got lost in Seafoam Isles for like a good 10 minutes. And it's only because I did not go far enough to look around the area. But boy, am I glad to be able to move on so we can go and do the 7th gym. At this point right here, I remember that I forgot to do the 6th gym. Not only that, I forgot to get the HM for Fly. So I go over, I grab a Pidgey, and I have to run all the way through the Diglett's tunnel and everything. Go back up through Saffron City, go over to Celadon, and run all the way to the cycling road so I can grab it. And then, of course, I run into a trainer battle on accident. So, of course, we're going to head over to Cinnabar again, because why not? Just another little detour. And now, though, we're going to actually go to Saffron, where we had Spectre evolve into Gengar. And now for the Sabrina fight, honestly, Spectre just had it super easy. Just Shadow Punches left and right. Just for quick KOs. And her Alakazam, even being at 43, really wasn't much, because I feel like all it had was just Future Sight and Psychic. So as long as we're fast enough, basically, we're going to end up doing good damage. And basically, we are just focusing on an Ozma for that. Ozma's got really high special attack, and Dark being special in this works. Now, I wish I would have had Cerberus right here for that, because Fire would have been great. But I'm a brokey little boy, so I didn't have any revives for that. And finally, we're moving over to Cinnabar for real, and we're taking on Blaine. Now, Blaine was super easy for Leviathan to just do good damage. And being at 35, we're like, okay, we're well within the level area for that. But we forgot the Arcanine is level 47. That thing is 12 level higher than me. How did I forget that? For real. But thankfully we had good little coverage for everyone. And more than anything, I just kind of prayed for that. We just going with a lot of RNG basically. And we're going to end up using all our revives that we can here. Because his Arcanine just did so much damage to us. That we're just we gotta pray. And at that point we realized, oh, yeah, no, we're not winning this. We're just gonna Perish Song and wait for that. So yeah, we cheese to win. And for the final battle, we're going back to Meridian City so we can take on Giovanni for the final time. Now, I pretty much knew at this point we're under level, but Giovanni just has ground type Pokemon and rock type, so just throw some water on it. Easy as that. Even being 10 levels under, Leviathan is just hitting them with ice beams left and right, a couple serves, and easy as that. Now the Duck Trio I was actually scared about because I'm like, I think the Trio's fast. Let's see what it looks like. Yep, and it was faster, now it's better, so we would have just lost life every time. Now, I felt like after treating Giovanni, I could take over his spot as we were about to see, when he finally disappeared, this fantasy rocket for Now, I am the gym leader. You must battle me. Okay, no, but for real, we're gonna start getting ready to move on. For the final rival battle, I believe it's gonna be us versus what's his name, because no one ever remembers a rival's name. Now, Kaz was honestly a little bit hard because, again, level differences. I focused way too hard on trying to stay within a level cap for them that it was hard to actually train my Pokemon after. But as soon as we took care of the Pidgeot, everything else just pretty much folded under pressure. Just a good little Thunderbolt here, Thunderbolt there, and we should outspeed it. We do. We got a lucky paralysis on that, so just 2 quick Thunderbolts. First up in the Elite Four is Lorelei. Now, Lorelei is normally super easy, but also super annoying because a lot of her Pokemon are bulky. Thankfully, Nazma's right up there with them in level, so it just takes a couple shots for each Pokemon to take them out. Cloyster, having Protect, is probably the most annoying bit on this, but as you can see, it's just one shot. Slowbro, I had trouble with before, thought it was going to be bad, but wasn't. Lapras being the actual bulkiest of her team was probably the biggest threat of the team. But the 2-shot with the Thunderbolt, nice and easy. We sent out Cerberus to clean house on the Jeans, and unfortunately, she did a little bit of Lovely Kiss and an Attract, so we have 2 things stopping us from getting a hit. But as soon as we wake up, we try to flamethrower, it doesn't work, we bet on E-Speed, and boom, Lorelei's down. Moving on to next, the Bruno is fighting a rock types pretty easy. Leviathan just hits him with a Surf. We send out Spectre because of his Psychic move to make use of his high special attack in Gen 1. And then just going back and forth, we just switch out between Leviathan and Spectre. They clean up pretty easily. You can see that right here. Now, his biggest one being Machamp at 56. These guys were a lot stronger than I remember them being, honestly, but just the 2 shots, 1 and done. Now, Agatha, I remember her being poisoned, so I thought she was going to have the Arbok to start off, so I had Tyrant out. Didn't work out, so I just switched out to Spectre so we can hit it with Psychic. Now that we're switched out to Golbat, we can just go with Nuzlocke, which is going to be one Thunderbolt, Arbok, and now Tyrant's going to get rid of the first hit. Two hits. Going back to the Haunter, and the last two cards, Spectre's just going to clean up with just 2 seconds. Now, for the final and toughest fight, as you're about to see, it is Lance of the Dragon Master. Now, I thought it was actually going to be a dragon, so I sent out Leviathan for Ice Beaming, and didn't really work that well, so we tried just one with Body Slam. Now, this Aerodactyl is the biggest problem because of its ancient power, because it just got an Omnibus off that hit. So with the extra attack stat, it's just going to start mowing through us with a Hyper Beam and a Hyper Beam. We sent out Tyrant thinking that Brick Break was going to do enough, but it didn't. He gets a full restore, so I bring back Leviathan thinking, okay, I'll just use Surf again. Now, it wasn't nearly enough right there, and it just got another Omni Boost with yet another ancient power. So we sent out an Ozma, and lo and behold, it got a third Omni Boost. I know very well I would never get one of them. So now it's basically just a little merry-go-round of who's gonna live a hit before we can get another hit. Honestly, right here, I'm just going to start reviving everyone, giving a little bit of EXP, trying to see who can actually live a hit. And I was incredibly surprised to see Spectre living it, because I don't think Spectre has all that good physical defense. But seeing that he was able to take one, I know, okay, I gotta try to stall for a couple turns. And Tyrant got a Poison Touch off, so thankfully that's going to help us in the long run. Spectre's just going to hit him with a quick Shadow Ball, and we lived on 1 that we attacked, which I was not expecting. Now, it's us 2 versus their 5, but we have enough 5s to just get him back up. So with his last 2 Dragonairs and Dragonite, it's basically just going to be up to Leviathan to make it happen. Just Ice Beam after Ice Beam, and it's just going to be the end. Now, thankfully, we have Spectre for quick switches. We just get Leviathan all the way back up, and then just 2 quick Ice Beams, just lock in the Dragon Dance, and we are good. Now, for the final fight of the game, it's going to be the champion battle. Us versus Cats. Now, Anathema just outspeeds Pidgeot again. Just hits it with a good old Thunderbolt, a couple more so we can waste full restore. And now we're just going to be walking around to who we have the advantage of. Because actually, our team stacked up very well against his. We pretty much had a counter for each and every Pokemon we had. And they're all just coming down one after the other. Now, Alakazam's always annoying because of its future sight attack, because I never know which one to swap into, so I just left Spectre in there to get that. And then he gets off a quick Nightshade to do about 50 points of damage. Nozma gets with a quick Thunderbolt. Executor is going to be fresh food for Cerberus, who just needs 1 quick Flamethrower. Make it 2, and it's easier. Now, for Charizard being level 63, we actually didn't have anyone near that level. So basically, we just kind of spam Surf. That's really all we had to do. Then Anathema is much quicker, so just 1 good Thunderbolt. And there we go. We became the champion. Now, like I said before at the beginning of this video, it took a long time to edit this. Mainly because I did about 3 different edits for this. But if you stayed to the end of it, I really appreciate all of you. And I hope you look forward to the next one, because the next game I'm going to be aiming to do is Heart Gold Soul Silver for Generation 2, because everything after this game got updated with the actual physical special split. So with that, I hope you look forward to it, and I do want to hear input on what I can do to make the edits a little bit better, or just a need for it. But for now, just thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.